Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm trying yet again another setup. This is actually still in like the spare room in our house, like that I'm using as like a beauty room, but can't really afford to use it as just my beauty room. Yeah, so I'm in the spare room in our house, and I thought I would try a different setup because I want somewhere like every day, or mostly every day, where I can just come and film and I can just make videos, whether it's for Instagram or whatever, or just talk. So I'm trying to just figure that out right now, and it's not always convenient in like the actual bedroom where like I sleep. So yeah, that's why I'm here. Hopefully, I cannot actually see, but hopefully I'm being cut off above my stomach because you guys don't need to see that. But yeah, so today's video is going to be basically, not that anyone requested this, but I thought I see a lot of people asking about foundation and how to stop foundation looking cakey, and I feel like because I have dry skin and I have dehydrated skin, I thought I would be like a good person to hopefully show you guys how to wear a full coverage or get a full coverage finish to your foundation without the weight and the heaviness, or feeling or it looking heavy and cakey or whatever else you want to call it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. You guys already know I have dry dehydrated skin, so skin prep firstly goes without saying is going to be the key to making whatever you put on top sit better, look better, and feel better as well for you to wear like throughout the day. It's going to feel comfortable. If I skip certain things in my skincare, I'd like within 2-3 hours, as soon as I go outside and then I go back inside and there's like a change in obviously the heating, the environment, the atmosphere, my skin just doesn't know what it's doing, so it tightens up, and then yeah, it's just it's crazy. So skin prep is obviously the most important thing. I've already cleansed my skin and I put my eye cream on as well, which was the Clinique All About Eyes. For skin base, I'm going to use this Vichy serum. So I know I have not done a thorough skin routine, but hopefully it's only because I don't use like the same serum 7 days out of 7. Like I have so many versions of my skin routine depending on how my skin is feeling, and that's the way I like to do my skin routine. So I will show you as many versions of my skincare routine over the next few weeks as I can, and then yeah, there's obviously things in my routine or my skincare regime that I love, and things that I'm just like, yeah, they're okay, but I'm still on the hunt for more better like versions. So this I absolutely love. This is the Vichy Aqualia Thermal Serum, and this serum is this is what basically stops my skin from feeling really tight, really dehydrated. So if my skin's feeling dry, I will whack on a thick moisturizer. If my skin's feeling dehydrated, I will hopefully try and drink more water, which I'm always trying to do, I just don't drink enough. And also I will use like a targeted serum, which this one is perfect for dry and dehydrated skins. So this serum has like a tacky kind of texture to it. Most serums feel a little bit like just tacky and have like a stickiness to them. They're not, obviously they're designed for you to put like a moisturizer on top, whether you use a serum in the evening or use it in the morning. So I am still obsessed with the Boots Botanics. I mention it on my Instagram lives, I mention it quite a bit, and also I went into Boots today, guys, and I think they've got 25% off the whole range, as well as 3 for 2. I think they definitely had like, it was definitely discounted. So this Botanics range that Boots do is amazing. Like I have quite a few of their products, so I absolutely love it. And really thick moisturizer, absolutely love this before my makeup. I really want to also try the priming water by Smashbox, because I feel like sometimes I moisturize, I'll do my skincare and I won't like go straight to applying my makeup, and in that time My skin just needs like a little refresh. So okay, moisturizer is on. So I've done my serum, I've done my moisturizer. So I would, even if you were going, if this was for something like an event or something special, then I would even recommend doing a very hydrating face mask. Next thing I'm going to apply is another Botanics product. This is something I talk about quite a lot. This is the All Bright Radiant Balm from the Botanics range, and it has hibiscus, I think. Basically I find that it just evens out my skin tone ever so slightly. It's kind of peachy goldy, and it has a really nice radiance to it. It has like a nice sheen to it, but it's not like applying, I don't know, it's not like applying something like the Iconic Drops a liquid highlighter all over your face. It's not that kind of like illuminating effect. It's just a really kind of subtle, healthy glow. So I absolutely love that. For the foundation, I thought it was only fair to use a foundation that is that's like one of the heaviest coverage foundations that I have, and one of those foundations that is notorious, I think, in the makeup industry, or with like people, anyone who's into makeup or knows about foundations. It's like that notorious foundation that is not very forgiving. Not a lot of people would wear this foundation day to day, so that's the reason I picked it. I picked a full coverage foundation, and a foundation that normally you would not associate someone with my skin type going for this foundation, and that is trusted old Studio Fix. So this is Max Studio Fix. I wear the shade, or I used to wear the shade NC40, and I thought this would be a good one, as well as the Estee Lauder Double Wear I could have done, but I know how to make the Estee Lauder Double Wear work for me. I've not worn this foundation in a very long time, and I know it's one of those foundations that if you recommend it to someone, they're like, no, I'm good. Like, it's, I don't know, like, it's just, there was a time where everyone loved this foundation. I think like years ago, maybe like 8-10 years ago, everyone absolutely loved this foundation. I don't see it a lot anymore. I don't see it mentioned a lot. I don't see it in makeup kits anymore a lot. But yeah, I know it does smell, it still smells very much like paint. So in order for me to be able to wear this foundation, obviously I need to make sure I get my skincare like checked. I also need to make sure that the way I apply this foundation, as much as it's a full coverage foundation, I need to make sure that the application on my skin is the most comfortable. I use a beauty blender, and yeah, I'm going to use a beauty blender in order to get a full coverage finish, but with a little bit of moisture in there, because obviously this holds quite a bit of water sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my base first, because I don't know what I'm doing with the eyes, but I'm going to do my base first. I don't have the pump, Studio Fix pump, but yeah, I'm going to take about this much, and I'm going to take a damp beauty blender, and I'm going to kind of first roll and bounce it into the foundation so it kind of meshes better with the water. Because if I just go and pick it up, like if you go pick up just foundation like that, it tends to not really sit in the beauty blender, and you actually want it to sit in the beauty blender if you want the beauty blender to do what's meant to do, which is just like make the application a lot more flawless. God, it smells awful. Okay, so I'm gonna just start in this area of my face, because that's where I tend to need coverage more. I find that if you kind of cover this area of the face, or your problem area first, you find that towards the edges of the face you kind of need less foundation. So I'm just basically pouncing that onto the skin. Another tip, if you don't obviously want your foundation to kind of build up too much and too heavy on the skin, is to definitely build it up in layers. So I'm taking some more now, and I'm going to just do the same, and I'm just building up the layers rather than going in like full throttle onto my skin. So I'm putting much less, I'm putting whatever's left, I'm putting much less towards the edge of my face, but I'm still getting, I can see the coverage where I need it. I'm also gonna try and put a high coverage, like industrial strength concealer as well, so you guys can see. Also, I tend to put a lot less. This colour, even the colour, I feel like it's NC40 is still quite yellow, because like I feel like I look really pale here. I mean, I never have this area really on show much, maybe that's why, but yeah, so for the forehead, I literally do not put a lot of foundation there, because I find that my skin on my forehead, strangely enough, is a little bit like prone to breakouts when I apply foundation there. So I'm going to leave it there because I'm not going to take it down my neck because this top is high and I really don't want it to get dirty. That gives us pretty full coverage to the point my top lip has just disappeared. It's giving us a full coverage face, like base at least. For concealer, I could go in with my NARS Radiant Concealer, which I probably will. So under the eye, the same thing really applies as long as it's hydrated and you've prepped the skin really well. I like to mix different concealers. If I want a higher coverage under my eye area, I'll make sure that I go in with kind of a radiant product. This is the Radiant Concealer by NARS, and then to get that intense coverage and brightening effect, I'm going to use the Kevin in SX06. So I'm going to first take the NARS and I'm going to apply the NARS right in the kind of inner tear duct, because this product for me will hopefully tends to crease a lot less than the Kevin will, and the Kevin I will use on the areas that my face doesn't crease as much. So here is where I obviously crease a lot more, and here. So I'm going to apply the Kevin. I'm going to apply him, and obviously less more in this area here. So kind of where I guess the hollow, my kind of eye, the kind of bone is just here. That's where I'm going to apply this, and I'm going to wet my beauty blender once more, and I'm going to just use the pointed side of the beauty blender to initially press and move the product along. Obviously the Kevin is going to take some work to move in, but that's what it is. Basically by doing that, I'm making sure that it's personal to me and it's going to be personal to you guys as well. So you have to really look at your face and not just whack on. Sometimes like one concealer all over may not work, and if you do want a full coverage finish under your eyes as well as the rest of your face and on with your foundation, then I highly recommend kind of placing, really thinking about where you're placing it, and it will help it as well to last longer, look better, like the finish will be, because I can tell you if I put Kevin all along here, like from the inner corner, it would crease like there was no tomorrow. Maybe like a few years ago I could have done that, but I can't afford to do that now because my skin under my eyes just tends to be obviously less forgiving. And then what I'll do is I'll take like my ring fingers on either side and I will just run them and press and tap basically underneath the eye area, and then basically you can just see excess product come off, and that excess product is obviously like just gonna sit there and crease. So and it also helps me basically just warm it up and press it into the skin. And then I'm going to basically set that. Again, I'm going to set it with a damp sponge. I'm not going to bake because for me, because the fact that I have dry skin. Baking just does not, it's not something that works for me, and I don't think it works for quite a few people, but it looks good in pictures and it looks good sometimes for effect, but actually if you want a full coverage, flawless finish, but you want it to look very much like not heavy and cakey, I would really just use a damp beauty blender with some translucent powder and basically press that into exactly where you need it, and basically very little elsewhere. I do now like puff out my laugh lines like and apply a little powder there, but other than that, because of my skin type, I'm not going to set my makeup, and that's going to obviously help as well, just stop it looking that much more I guess heavy on my skin. So I actually already had my brows kind of done. They're not really done, but they're fine. They don't offend me too much right now. I'm just going to put some lip balm off because my lips are quite dry after that. And now when it comes down to contour, bronzing, adding a little bit of definition back into the face, I'd obviously, now that we've used quite a heavy like kind of coverage foundation, I would recommend using cream products wherever you can on top of your kind of full coverage matte foundation. So for me, I would use a cream contour if you're into contour, or I would just use a bronzer with a hint of shimmer, even like a liquid bronzer. I am going to use my trusted old, I'm not going to go heavy with the contour, and if anything I'm going to bronze more than contour, so I'm not going to do any contouring as such. What I am going to do is I'm going to use a mixture of this baked bronzer, this is from Vivo, and a bit of my MAC, this is in golden bronze. Love this product. If you don't have this, you really need this, it's stunning. So I'm going to basically use these two to basically bronze up my face and not so much anything else. So and the difference when I contour to when I bronze is when I contour, I pinch my brush a little and I press it in so it kind of stays there and stays like the contour stays where I need it to stay. When I'm bronzing, I'm just like really free-handed and I just warm up basically kind of the same areas but just not very precisely. Tiniest like shimmers in these products will just help as well the skin to look a little bit more luminous as well. I am going to use an intense highlight. This is the Iconic Drops by the Iconic drops in the Illuminator ones. This is the original. So yes, they're quite intense, but I'm going to basically take that on. I'm going to take that with a blending brush in order to basically give a softer finish and to just bring a little bit of glow. Just gonna pop some on the tops of my cheekbones, above my brows. I'm gonna use some of Laura Geller Gilded Honey as well. I'm gonna take that on the same little blending brush and I'm just gonna put that on the very high points. And I find mixing highlighters, like mixing different textures as well, sits better on the skin rather than just like powder, 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 powder. What I like to do before I apply my blush, which is going to be a cream blush because it's just going to help the skin to look less flat and less powdery, and cream blush itself, because it's like a cream product, it has a sheen to it, so it will just make the skin look even more glowy. I'm going to use some of this mist, which I mentioned in my Jan favourites. This is the e.l.f. Illuminating Mist, and I'm just going to spritz that all over. More is more with that product. And then we're just going to cool down and let that set. Time for eyes. I am going to keep it fairly simple as usual, But with eyeshadow, I just like to stick with the same cream products. So because sometimes if you have like a gorgeous glowy flawless base and then you have quite like a matte smoky eye or something, it can just, I don't know, it can just take away from something, or like it balances out the glowiness, you know. But with this look I wanted to obviously show you guys a flawless full coverage base, but with a little, like, without it looking heavy, cakey, and looking actually glowy and dewy and healthy. So I'm going to stick with cream products, or at least a cream product base. I'm going to use a product that I've used a bunch of times. This is Rich Ground Fluid Line by MAC. I'm going to apply that. I apply it with straight on with my ring finger, and I'm just going to apply it mainly to the actual eyelid. Blend out where the product meets the skin. That's where we want to focus the blending on. I absolutely love cream eyeshadows because it just looks like you spent longer than you did blending. So let's pull, I can't remember what shade this is. Looks like, is that Star Violet? I'm going to take that on my finger again and then just press that over the cream. So next I'm going to use the Kiko, Kiko, I got this actually recently, the Arctic eyeshadow stick. It's a black kind of liquid, black eyeshadow stick, but with like hints of, a little hint of kind of glitter, but angled brush from MAC, and I'm gonna blend it upwards. Like so. Use L'Oreal Voluminous with, the Ico Black Magic Mascara, and I'm not going to do false lashes because this is just the way I prefer to do my makeup, is kind of like now, like without false lashes. But I have mentioned this blush already a bunch of times, but this is the Kevyn Aucoin Trezabelle Deep Peach Blush. It is insane. I absolutely love this blush, and I apply it using my middle finger. So I just press in there and I do two little kind of presses on each cheek, and then I will wipe off the excess, and I will use a clean finger to basically tap that into the skin, mesh it with the highlighter, the bronzer, and it just adds just a healthy flush rather than like a powdery finish. For me, obviously the key, in my opinion, to achieving making sure your skin doesn't look heavy, although you can see, guys, like my skin is pretty covered, obviously not certain parts, but it is, for me this is as full coverage, but it just has a healthy glow. It still looks like not a crazy amount of product is sat on my skin, hopefully. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the blush. And then I'm also going to use a little bit of this onto my lips because I think it makes a stunning. Add some gloss because it's just going to keep in line with the whole glowy, dewy, like not heavy kind of finish. Sometimes a matte lip, for me, like I'm over matte lips. I love a gloss. I'm definitely a gloss girl. Oh my god, I'm actually scraping the barrel with this one. This is Chihuahua. It's one of my favourites as well. I may actually just go a little bit extra and apply. This is Over the Top from Dose of Colours, and I'm just going to apply that in the centre. It has a ton of shimmer. It's me done, and this is the finish. I have natural daylight coming from here, so it's probably picking up better than the lighting in front of me, but yeah, this is the finished makeup look. Hopefully you learnt something and you have a little bit more confidence to wear something as robust and strong as MAC Studio Fix and still have it look a little bit more, I guess, youthful and a little bit more natural whilst keeping the coverage, basically. So I can't wait to stick my mum clip. Can't wait to stick my mum clip in. I swear to God, this is my, like, I can't bear to have my hair down anymore. This is my mum hairstyle. Like, I always have my hair like this. But yeah, I'm going to go. I actually want to film one more video. I want to film a video kind of because it's obviously the 1st of Feb, so I wanted to film a video updating you guys on where I am with my kind of journey in terms of health, mental health, physical health. I just thought it's good to kind of not just talk about it once in the beginning of January and then disappear for the whole year. So I think I'm going to film that now. I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!